So some of the events and meetings have attended since our last update was October 11th. I met with the CEO of the Canada Summer Games, Barry Wright. We are getting involved in that, and there is an Indigenous participation working group, and so that'll be continuing. Those games are being held in the Niagara region in 2021. On October 12th, the Youth Council had a Thanksgiving dinner at the Community Hall, which I attended. The food was delicious, and thanks to the Youth Council. I also, on the 15th, had a meeting with the chair of the Brant Healthcare Foundation, who are doing fundraising for the expansion of the Brantford General Hospital. And on the 17th, some of the health staff and I were invited by the MPP in Brant, Will Bouma, to attend a roundtable on mental health with Minister Michael Tobolo, who is the Provincial Minister on Mental Health and Addictions. Later that evening, I represented the Chiefs of Ontario at the Right to Play Gala in Toronto. We do have Right to Play here in our community, and I understand it's in about 60 communities, in Indigenous communities in Ontario. It was an excellent gala, and some of the Raptors were there to support Right to Play. On October 18th, Grand River Employment and Training held a career fair at the Gathering Place. And later that evening, I attended a performance at the Community Hall, which was Great Art for Great Lakes, and it was a premiere performance of Song for the Water, which was featuring Logan Stotts. On the 19th, I was in Toronto I went to view the Mush Hole, which was done by Santi Smith, and also attended the Downey Wenjack concert at Roy Thompson Hall. That was at the invitation of Mike Downey, and it was a commemoration of residential school survivors and a fundraiser for the Downey Wenjack Fund. That same evening, the mayor of Brantford did hold a fundraising gala, and Six Nations was represented by Councillor Audrey Paulus-Bomberry. We had a very successful annual Veterans Day celebration here in our community on October 20th, with many dignitaries and veterans visiting us. And then from the 22nd to the 23rd, our Lands Resources Department hosted the National Lands Research Directors Conference here at the Gathering Place. On the 22nd, I also visited Polytech and welcomed Minister Jill Dunlop, the Provincial Minister for Children and Women's Issues. She was touring Six Nations Polytech Brantford campus, as well as the STEAM Academy. I then went to Toronto and made opening remarks at the opening of Imaginative, which is a international Indigenous film festival held in Toronto every year. On the 23rd, we had the Ontario Museum Association delegates here at Six Nations Polytech campus on the reserve, and I was over there to provide them with some remarks. And on the 24th of October, the Assembly of First Nations held a specific claims conference here at Six Nations, and this was following the Research Directors Workshop that was held at the Gathering Place. And that evening, I attended the fundraising gala for Dewa Desne in Hamilton. They are raising funds for community hubs in both Brantford and Hamilton. And on the 25th, I traveled to London to attend the Peace Conference, which is an annual conference held for our early learner staff for all First Nations here in Southern Ontario. And on the 27th, I was down at Warrior Park, Athletics Park, down at by across from Skylight. We had the quarterback and another player from the Hamilton Tiger-Cats who were here to give a donation back to Warrior Park. And kudos to Mike Hill for getting that park going. And the kids seemed to have a wonderful time. And that was held on October 27th. On October 29th and 30th, there was a Tri-Council Justice Conference held at New Credit. I attended and made some opening remarks there, and then attended a Board of Governors meeting at the University of Waterloo. On the 30th, former Ontario Cabinet Minister Eleanor McMahon was in my office to meet with myself and Janice Montour, our Director of Tourism, to talk about the Joseph Brant Museum in Burlington and getting our input in the story that is to be told there, and as well as the exhibits that will be displayed. So Janice is going to continue working with them. And Councillor Terry General was in Montreal on October 30th and 31st to attend the Assembly of First Nations Long-Term Water Strategy Session. I did a couple of interviews upon my leaving my position as chief, one with the Sachem in Caledonia and as well as one with a Brantford Expositor. And on November 1st and 2nd, I think our Language Commission attended the Sweetgrass Language Conference, which was held in Akwesasne. On November 1st as well, Six Nations Polytechnic signed an agreement with IBM and Mohawk College for a P-Tech program at the STEAM Academy in Brantford, and I was pleased to be there and give some remarks. And then to go over to Linden Park Mall to kick off the Random Act of Kindness Day, which was on November 1st. That evening we held our 5th annual Firefighters Gala at the Gathering Place. It was sold out and it was a huge success. And I just thank all the sponsors and all the people that attended. It was a wonderful evening. On November 2nd, I attended a Thank-A-Vet luncheon at Assumption College, and along with some of the Six Nations veterans. And then I also was able to make it to John Green's 100th birthday celebration at the Gathering Place and to present a plaque to him on behalf of Council. And later that day, we took part, Councillor Carl Hill and I, at the official launch of the Brantford Region Indigenous Services Centre, which is the new Friendship Centre in Brantford. They had their launch at the Civic Centre on November 2nd. On November 4th, the Associate Deputy Minister of Education for Indigenous Services was here at Six Nations to visit. And later that day, the CEOs of the YMCAs in Ontario were in the community to tour Six Nations and visit the Beyond the Bell program at the J.C. Hill School. I was then in Ottawa with Councillor Carl Hill on November 5th and 6th to attend an Iroquois caucus meeting, which is a meeting with the other elected councils in the Haudenosaunee communities. And on the 7th, I talked with the Deputy Minister of Indigenous Services just to follow up on some issues, and also took part in a conference call with the Political Confederacy and the Chiefs of Ontario. And the 7th, I also attended the award ceremony for the Six Nations Police, which was a very fine event as it recognizes the police for commendation services that they've done and also for years of service. On November the 8th as well, I was at St. John's College Remembrance Day, and then had lunch with the MP, Phil McColman, the MPP, Will Boma, and the Mayor of Brant County in Brantford. And as I said, some of the upcoming things today is, or November 9th, will be the Six Nations election. The evening of November 9th will be the Creative Native concert at the Gathering Place featuring Buffy St. Marie. November the 11th is Remembrance Day. I'll be taking part in laying a wreath at the Brantford ceremony. And November 12th and 13th, we will be having pet wellness, the spay and neuter clinic, the rabies clinic, the community hall. And as well, November 12th to 15th is National Addictions Awareness Week. So you can please check our website for any activities. And lastly, I just want to congratulate Kara Sky, who plays for the under-14 Cambridge Coyotes. She is the pitcher, and she received an acknowledgement by council in the previous council meeting for her achievements. So good luck to her as she pursues her sports career.